Hello guys, it's now 7:25 in the evening on Sunday, September 29th, 2013. You have no idea how I have struggled to try to get these two little tiny QuickTime 7 Pro movie clips put together. I have had so many different combinations of stuff. It's just amazing. I finally got something to go together, but YouTube will not accept the thing. It says it's not properly formatted. Well, I'm now going to video the thing off of my computer screen in QuickTime Player, the standard QuickTime X player, 10 player, and see how that one works. So let's give it a shot. Well, we've got our sweet souls here. Yeah, there's our sweet souls. God bless you, honey souls. Yeah, this is September 28th here, about 6 o'clock in the evening, Eastern time. There's our deer. Well, there's the deer anyway. And you've got, they're here. You got the mama and the two youngsters. I think you see. Well, you can see all three of them. I'm a bit wobbly. Hell, I mean, that's my ankles, wobbling over. There we go. It's all right, honey. You don't need to put up the white flag, so to speak. The red flag would be like if you were a socialist deer and singing the "Keep the Red Flag Flying" song. It's okay, honey souls. You guys are so neat. What a blessing to have you all here. So neat. I'm not gonna horse with you. I'm horsing you now, I guess, by talking with you, but it's okay. Go eat some of these weeds here now. There you are. There you go. Okay. Bye-bye, guys. I'm glad you were here. Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on Sunday afternoon, 29th of September 2013 at exactly 4 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Now, today was today's always, every day, this is the day that, it's like Psalm 118, this is the day the Lord has made, rejoice and be glad in it. So, while I, emerged from my, fitful sleep at 5 in the morning this morning, not necessarily rejoicing and being glad. I certainly was glad God's given me another day. I'm certainly glad God has given me, my daily bread, both physically and spiritually. Nonetheless, one has to get up and get on with things. So I got up and took the massive quantities of medicine that, along with the grace of God keeping me alive, and then went in and wrote some checks and paid the cable bill. Oh, by the way, they've raised the cable, from $45 to $50 a month for the internet only. Internet only. I don't buy the TV. I'm not going to pay for that. And then the electric bill. We've been very abstemious in our electric use here this summer and early fall. Only around 650 kilowatt hours a month. So still it's like $90. And then there was one other bill. Oh, it was the Visa card for the Chase Bank. It was like Walmart food, Giant Eagle sundries, things like that. That's good. Thank God I can afford it. And then off to church. I went over and I did some Walmart shopping this morning. I had a shopping list. Well, obviously I have a shopping list. You do, don't you? And the one item I was having trouble thinking, I thought maybe I wouldn't be able to find it because it's, I like to buy the olive oil. I buy olive oil maybe about twice a year. Maybe only 8 or 9 months. Because it's like 3 quarts, like 3.5 quarts at a whack. And, and every time you buy olive oil, it always tastes different. But because it's a biological product, it's always going to be slightly different. So I had been buying mine at Myers because they had the big jugs, and it was it wasn't one of these brand name things. So you'd get 3.5 quarts for like $18, $19. Okay. Well, the only thing I've been able to find at Walmart up to today it's like these little quart jugs, and they're all brand names, and they're all very expensive, and I'm not going to buy that. So I thought, I don't want to have to go making an extra trip over to Meijer and before I go to church. So I looked nonetheless in Walmart, and by golly, they had it, so I bought it. So that saved me an extra trip home after church. So. Did you hear that crack, guys? Probably not. Here, let's be sure we got everything turned up here. Good. I want you to be able to hear everything. Every single crack. So off to church now. I got there a little later than I usually do. I usually try to get there about. If I'm reading, I try to get there 35 minutes ahead of time because you got to check things out. But if I'm not reading, and I wasn't reading today, since it was Ute Sunday, more of that anon. It was at 9:30, which is an hour earlier than we usually do, which is fine. I would actually prefer it to be at 9:30 every Sunday, frankly. It's a single service where we have both the 8 o'clock services and the 10:30 services all come together. So we have basically get a good idea of how many people actually come to church on a regular basis. Now today we had quite a number of these folks. We probably had about between 100 and 110 people there. And since we have 150 families, households, families, units, that's a pretty good turnout, really. Particularly since it's Ute Sunday. No, maybe that increases the turnout. So, got there. I didn't park in the parking lot because I got there later, just as well because I wouldn't have had any room anyway. And so, I'm sorry, I'm talking fast like a California girl, but I don't mean to. got in, sat pretty much where I usually sit behind the people I usually sit with. That's okay. And good, sang good tune, immortal, invisible, God only wise. Actually, it's interesting. This is the third time this new choir mastress has had to sing that as an introit hymn or entrance hymn, and it's great. I'll sing it every day. Bring it on, as they used to say. I'll be interested to see when some people, start peeing and moaning about that, as inevitably they will. Church sociology being what it is. So, and the kids read now. Well, I'll tell you about the new lectern in another piece, but now we're coming into a period where we've got a fairly good group of kids. Especially, I'm not talking about like the teenagers. We don't have that many teenagers. Well, I don't think we have any teenagers. Again, they've all gone off to school, college, and but we have a number of sort of fairly advanced 9, 10-year-old people, maybe 11 even. Well, no, 9 or 10, and their parents work with them. Which is, and that's the point. Parents work with them, and so when they're given these reading, they're going to stand up in church and read. Which that's standing up in public to speak is a very challenging, daunting task. In fact, there's all sorts of physiologic studies that suggest that's one of the most, one of the more stressful activities that can happen to somebody who's in a combat type situation. And these two guys that did it. Oh no! Well, there was a girl, and she was like 8 or 9, 8, and there's 3 girls in this family, and then a gap, and then there's a boy, and but all 3 of these girls, the boy can't read yet, but all 3 of these girls are voracious readers, and clearly the mother has worked with them, and the dad too maybe, and although he's all over the state doing stuff with sheep, he's he works in the extension service, and and the Jeremiah thing, there were a number of not odd names, but names that would be relatively hard to pronounce, first time through. So clearly this had been rehearsed, and not just once. So good for the kid. Now, of course, read it a bit too fast. But not California fast, not Valley Girl fast, and not internet. I'm an internet YouTube star fast either. By the way, all of you YouTubers out there that I subscribe to that like to talk that way, I bet they're not going to change, but maybe they will. And so then, the Timothy, the girl read the Jeremiah, the boy read the Timothy, and which, given some of the stuff, problems or potential problems problems I think, are they problems? No, it's just me. My problem is I'm having a problem living
by the tenets of 1 Timothy 6, and that's my problem. But it was good to be reminded of that again. And this guy didn't do a bad job. He did not do a bad job. Well, I would give him, if I were grading him, say in a speech class, I wouldn't give him lower than a B minus. I wouldn't give him higher than a B. But given his stage in life, and he read slower than the girl. Well, he's a little older. He's had a little bit more experience. So, now, he did the prayers of the people as well, and he did a crappy job on that. An absolute crappy job. It wasn't prayerful. It was like he was reading some sort of list off his computer. So, okay. Well, that wasn't okay, but that's what happened.
To his credit, he had a bad script.
Then we did communion, fine. That's one, well, not fine. I mean, that's communion. And, calling us to think about things that we think about. And then after communion, we were going to have, well, what was going to happen was, it was scheduled to be a Ute anthem. And I could see all these guys, and not just the two that had read, who did a, reasonable job. All these kids clustering about, and they had the flashcards, and they were going to wave their hands and dance. There'd probably be some clapping. So after I took communion, I just walked down the side aisle and slid out the front door. I've only done that maybe 3 times in the last, since 1995. I just couldn't face that. And so there it is. I had already parked on the street planning for this. I did not park in the back parking lot. I'd anticipated maybe having to feel the need to do this. So, the rector's growing one of these. Well, I'm going to be a bit crude here. He's growing one of these pussy beards. His little vulva beards. Makes his mouth look like you're looking into a vulva. Don't do that, guys. Just don't do that. Nobody likes to look at that. I spent a lot of time in GYN clinic. I'm going to tell you right now. Sometimes you got to do that, and that's fine, because that's, hell, I even thought about becoming a gynecologist and an obstetrician. But I thought, no. I can't look at that every day. I just can't. So I didn't. I like the idea, especially because it's a very well-defined specialty, and then of course the obstetric part is very, a lot of fun, unless you have a disaster. Well, I suppose it could be fun if you have a disaster, not for the patient, the infant. But you get to do a lot of surgical stuff, and again, it's well-defined. The problem with obstetrics is, of course, it's just the hours are just grotesque. So you have to actually be in it. I mean, that's the only time you have to actually be in a group to do obstetrics. Unless, of course, you're like my friend Nancy out in San Francisco, Palo Alto, who has never taken insurance, never taken third-party payment, has only done private high-risk obstetrics. She does 20 deliveries a month. All her patients pay her in cash. She and I were in this, we we went into Ohio State together in 1969, and immediately, just fell into each other. I mean, we just clicked in terms of, the same mindset, same take on things, same sort of sarcastic, ironic. So she's been out there practicing since 1976, and my word, I would think she's getting ready to pull the pin, but she's still doing it. God bless her. Good for her. Well, I didn't go into obstetrics, as you all know, and or gynecology for that matter. And if the rector grows his little vulva beard, well, then there it is. I'll have to avert my eyes. I'm sorry. Avert my eyes. Oh gosh, I think a lot of this has to do with because guys are too lazy to shave. Because that area of your face is obviously the hardest part to shave if you're not using an electric razor. So I think this is like the onset of the automatic transmission. I knew a guy that says he knew the United States was going to hell when cars got automatic transmissions because people were too lazy to shit. Maybe it's going further down the drain because these guys are growing all these little vulva beards because they're too lazy to shave. Well, YouTubers, I was going to sign off and say bye-bye.
I actually got this to splice here.
I've just spent 2 hours trying to figure out how to splice this little 26-second bye-bye segment onto the longer 18-minute thing that comes before this.
And more was to come, hence this.
Well, first of all, it sent me to, scrambling about to try to find my QuickTime 7 Pro instruction sheets that I had downloaded some months past, which were incomprehensible to me at the time, but I thought maybe they'd be more comprehensible now.
No, it turns out they weren't.
I could not find them. I'm sure they're here somewhere.
Well, I did find them. Well, I printed them out, but they were not helpful.
I also tried to find my Yvonne Johnson, mountain lion book, which I know I have around here somewhere. Paul doesn't have it. He was using it, but he didn't have it. I know I didn't leave it down my ex-wife's. It's disappeared into the maw around here somewhere. So I was able to finally download some stuff from the quote help unquote section of the Apple program guides that they give.
Better triple those quotes, guys.
On the computer screen. By the way, that help is a misnomer.
Yeah, it is.
They don't really help you. If they did, then I wouldn't be sitting here griping about it, would I? So what I'm going to try to do...
Well, I might be griping,
I'm going to try to
about
graft this thing that I'm making right now onto the tail end of this 18-minute thing that I made earlier today. Well, considerably earlier today now. So...
I hope our cyber warfare doesn't take this long to work.
I'm still working at this stuff, guys. It's been almost,
I would hope our cyber warfare works better than
this. Coming up on 10 months, though. Well, 10 months for the YouTube stuff. It's been slightly over a year for the computer stuff in general. So now I'll say officially, bye-bye, YouTube. Try.
Ha, 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 ha. Well, as a little saving segment here, guys. I must say that it's been an interesting, well, and to an extent informative afternoon about how to use all this stuff. Well, how to splice together stuff. I know how to use the stuff. I mean, I could have just but for some idiotic reason, I cut the thing off thinking I needed to check something, and I only had about 30 more seconds of stuff to put on. And see, if I had just kept talking and ignored it, I'd been doing something else 4 hours from ago. But anyway, still, at some point, I will have to learn how to use these programs. I really do wish the Apple people would be a little bit more forthcoming about information, but maybe it's there. Maybe I don't know how to find it. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So, alrighty, now here we are. Here, see, you can see I'm, there's, Paul's doing a little stuff here. He went down and saw his stepmother today, which we'll talk about at a later date. I'm not going to, given the amount of time tonight, I'm just going to shut up. So
she's doing great.
Well, good, because Helen's a wonderful soul. Alrighty, so bye-bye, YouTubers.